Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eevee bringing yet another Pokemon battle. This one was a Wi-Fi UU battle that I had against MrNintendoFanMan-Jacob. Now, this was an experimental team on his part, and it has a couple of Pokemon that are certainly against standard, and they definitely catch me off guard, as you'll see later on. Quick look at my team before it comes on. Crustle is there for entry hazards, Blastoise has Rapid Spin, the other four are just offensive Pokemon. Not as in they're going to insult you, but they're meant to be for power. I'm going to start with Nidoking just to see what he has to start with. Simply because I'm actually running a Choice Scarf Nidoking instead of Choice Specs, and to be honest it does quite terrible because it hasn't got enough power on its own. But anyway, his Mew is going to U-turn, and that tells me that it's Choice Scarfed, seeing as how it outsped my Choice Scarfed Nidoking. And so he's going to go out to his Wall Porygon 2 with Eevee, trace my Sheer Force, which isn't going to matter too much. But anyway, I was just going to go for the Stab Sludge Wave. I wasn't really sure what he was going to do, but I figured a Stab Sludge Wave would hit anything that comes in, except for this Porygon 2, as it does a very tiny amount, and I don't want it to stay in case it goes for the Ice Beam. It actually goes for the Toxic, predicting my switch beautifully, ends up Toxicking my physically defensive entry hazard laying Krusty the Crustle. So he's going to switch out. That's just going to give me a chance to set up my Stealth Rocks, which is what I'm going to do. Just want to point out that the Mew actually has Pressure instead of Synchronize, which is probably just a miss save on his part, but kind of matters later on, as you'll see, but we'll get to that. So anyway, I've set up my Stealth Rocks, going to take a bit of damage from the poison. It's not racking up too bad at the moment, but seeing as how he switched out to his Mew, I figured he'd have something that could take on my puzzle. So I'm going to switch out to my Special Defensive Blastoise. He's actually going to go for Transform, and I realise it's probably because he doesn't have any entry hazards himself, and so he intends to transform into my entry hazard layer thing and get up his entry hazards that way. So anyway, I'm going to Toxic his, and that's the part I'm talking about, because if he'd have had Synchronize, then my Blastoise would have also been Toxic. But I'm not complaining certainly, but it's just a point to make to him more than anything. So now he's going to switch into Zubat, which is certainly strange. I mean, for one thing, it takes Stealth Rock damage, but also I was wondering at the time, why would you bring in a Crobat on a Blastoise? But so I'm going to go for the Surf anyway, and it's going to do a reason why. It's definitely a 2 KO from that range, so I figure I'll just stay and go for another Surf, and he gets me with Giga Drain. Now, this Blastoise is max HP, max special defense, and that does a massive amount really, and yet still it didn't click with me that it was Choice Specs, and I actually only found out after he told me. And I'm a bit I don't know, I wouldn't say confused, but it was certainly risky, because when his Mew used Transform, he should have seen that I'm actually carrying the Mirror Coat, I believe it's Mirror Coat, that reflects the special attack damage, doubles, and gives it and reflects it back onto him. So I'm surprised he stayed in, and I thought he'd be bluffing and switch moves, not realising he was choiced at the time. But I have to say it works brilliantly on a Blastoise, because with max HP, max special defense, a T-Bolt from Porygon 2 is roughly a 2 to 3 hit KO, which means I can just even switch in on it if it comes to it, but anyway, I can just hit it and take out a Porygon 2, which is massive. So anyway, I'm predicting to cover another Giga Drain, so I feel it's a great time to switch to my Yanmega. That does, considering it's quadruply resisted, that Giga Drain still does a pretty nice amount, but obviously he's going to have to switch out, and at that range of health that's basically down altogether. So he's going to go back into his Porygon 2 just to resist it. I figure he may possibly switch in something, but even if he doesn't, I was going to go for Air Slash anyway, and with 95% accuracy it manages to miss. And what really scares me at this point is the fact that his Porygon 2 has now traced my Speed Boost, which I definitely don't want. So I'm just going to leave in Yanmega to die, get off a Bug Buzz. As I say, I pretty much left in for Death Fight just so that I'd get a free switch into another Pokemon, because knowing my luck, I'd have switched to my Arcanine here and it would have got frozen. I really wouldn't put it past me, but so that's going to go down. He's going to get 1 speed boost. Thankfully, Porygon 2 has abysmal speed, so I can still switch into my Arcanine, which is Choice Banded, not Choice Scarfed, and it will still be able to outspeed, getting a bit ahead, just got the Intimidate off. So I can hit the close combat. He maybe stayed in thinking either he could, not take it from that range, but maybe thought that he may possibly outspeed. But I checked before I'd done this move, so I knew that I'd be safe to go for a super effective close combat. I could have maybe gone for extreme speed, but I wasn't sure with an Eevee like Porygon 2 if that would have took it out. He's going to go into his own Arcanine, take some damage from the Stealth Rock. I'm going to switch out because obviously I'm at -1 defense and special defense, and I'm not carrying Flash Fire like he is. So I'm going to switch back to my special defensive Blastoise. He's actually going to go for the close combats. I don't know if he was predicting my switch to this, probably, because he's a really good player, so he would see something that obvious coming. But anyway, that's going to be Blastoise down. And I also see right there that he's Life Orbed as opposed to mine, which is Choice Banded. So I'm fairly sure that even if he outspeeds me with the extreme speed, I would still be able to take it, especially after that Intimidate. So he's going to switch out now, because obviously he's also at -1 defense. Going to switch to his Zubat as Death Rider and as a pivot switch, just to see what I'm going to do. And I was going to go for the extreme speed anyway, so that because he was at -1 defense, I've got Choice Banded, so it would have been brilliant. He's now going to go into his Drapion though, and I know that these carry Earthquake, myself carries Earthquake, so I decided to switch out at this point, go into Nidoking. Kind of silly if he had have gone for the Earthquake, but I guess I did it just in case I wanted to set up a Sword Stance or just see what he deals, and then I could have hit him with an Earth Power. He's going to go for Knock Off here, take off my Choice Scarf. Yeah, like I say, Choice Scarf Nidoking really doesn't work that well. It's I mean, with its great move pool, it sort of needs Choice Specs just to make full use of its moveset to get some real power on, because even with Sheer Force it doesn't do a lot, as you'll see here when I go for an Earth Power. I mean, obviously this could have been fully special defensive, in which case that's actually a really good chunk, but it's highly doubtful. It does a pretty nice amount, but with Choice Specs, I mean, obviously it would have been knocked off anyway, but Choice Specs would have took it out. Getting beside the point here, so now I'm going to switch back into Crustle, just to see what he wants to do. He's going to go for the Zen Headbutt, because I'd already seen the U-turn, so I had a feeling it may have been a physical set, and with Crustle being my physically defensive Pokemon, I figure I can just do this, set up a couple of spikes while Toxic does its job, basically. And so he goes for the Zen Headbutt, hit again in a row, and, you know, it takes it pretty well, but he flinches me, which is just typical, because I could have set up a layer of spikes there while the Toxic finished off Mew, but I miss out there, so bit upsetting. Well, not upsetting, yes, I was there crying for ages over how I didn't get the spikes up, no, but you know, just a bit, it would have been a bit nicer. So he brings in Whiscash now, and I know I haven't got anything that can touch it, so he sets up a Dragon Dance, and that gives me a chance to set up a layer of spikes. So if I hadn't have got that flinch, I'd now have up 2 layers of spikes. I mean, really the spikes don't matter that much, but it's just for my own peace of mind, because I quite like having up Stealth Rocks and spikes. All entry hazards really, Toxic Spike not as much, but still, you know, any damage is good damage. So anyway, Toxic's racking up. He's going to go for a Waterfall this turn, probably figuring, you know, he's not going to want 3 layers of spikes up on his team in case he needs to switch out. So anyway, from that range of health, Waterfall's easily going to take it out, so I'm going to go into Shaming, or Manic the Hedgehog if you will, just to scare him out with a Seed Flare. I've seen what's left of his team, and even though I could have gone for an Earth Power, it would have made more sense. I decided to go for a Seed Flare just because I figure it will still hit anything hard that comes in on it. Mine being a Life Orb set and all that jazz, and that Seed Flare does a very nice amount, and I actually get the special defense drop. Not that it matters anyway, but yeah. So now I rebuilt in there on the Life Orb sets. Yeah, basically. And now this turn I'm going to go for the Earth Power. Like I said, I should have done that last turn really, because it would have probably took out the Drapion from that amount of health. If he'd have switched to Arcanine, he would have, but I figure he wasn't going to go to Arcanine anyway, because he'd prefer a free switch onto that so he could try and go for a Flare Blitz. And as I say, here comes Arcanine now, but I'm fairly sure, well, takes all that damage. Yes, so he figures to go for an extreme speed, probably, I'm not sure, in fact yes, Shaman has 100 base speed, Arcanine has just less than that, 90 something base speed, so I'd have outsped him anyway, obviously with him carrying Life Orb, so it wasn't Scarf, so he's just going to go for the extreme speed to get some damage off. I just go for an Earth Power. At this point, it is pretty much a good game, because all he has left now is Whiscash, which I'm going to, which is going to sweep the rest of my team and make an amazing comeback. But unfortunately for him, I do manage to hit another Seed Flare, which is amazing for me. I managed to miss an Air Slash, but I can hit 2 Seed Flares. So yeah, basically that's it. Like I said, that was a great game. Also, that was only an experimental team on his part, and I wouldn't say it shows because he still played that brilliantly, and he outpredicted me quite a couple of times. But yeah, he's a great battler. Check out the channel if you haven't already, even though you probably have, because if you're watching someone like me, why wouldn't you have watched a channel like theirs? They do things like split screen, let's plays, as well as battles. They've also done recently a like sort of live team building thing, which was quite cool. But yes, that's basically it from me. Just going to take just a moment to say, what would you like to see next? Not just from me, but from all the other guys as well. Would you like to see? Just tell us maybe in the comments what tier you'd like us to play, whether it's RU, NU, even Little Cup, Ubers, OU, basically going through all the tiers. But yeah, there's that. Vaporeon may possibly be uploading Pokemon Online soon. I've just got the most time on my hands, so that's purely the only reason why I've been keep uploading. It's not like I've been making it up and there's actually no one else. I'm just the only one in this channel, and for some reason I've pretended it's a joint channel for no reason. But rambling a bit. Yes, that's basically it from me, so maybe just leave in the comments what you'd like to see. We may be doing a let's play, but don't hold your breath on that because it's quite difficult at the moment, and plus we're only just starting out. Maybe when we have more people viewing and stuff, if we have more people viewing, I shouldn't assume like that. It may be that we're just terrible and nobody wants to come and see us. But yes, our Skype names, well, my Skype name and Jolteon's are included in the description below, as well as our Dueling Network. If maybe you'd like to see some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels on this from Dueling Network, there's also the possibility of that. If you just like I say, just comment below on what you'd like us to do next, like whether it's a tier, another kind of. We can't do challenge cups because we actually use Pokegen instead of Pokestyle. But I'm going on for way too long here, so I'm going to say goodbye to you all now. Have a lovely day, YouTube, and goodbye.